Hi, everyone. Welcome to Enterprise 2.0, the conclusion of Batch 2. So welcome, everyone. My name is Connie Weissman. I'm VP of Corporate Partnerships here. I'd like to thank all of you for being here today. So thank you for that. So let me start by telling you a little bit about what's going to happen today. We just a couple of housekeeping items. For Wi-Fi, there is no password, so you can have access to that. If you'd like to have a copy of our event brochure, you'd have to scan the QR code behind your badge, and you have access to that. We also have a networking app called Brella, and you can either put in the web address, or you can also access it through the QR code, and that's for you to meet other people up in the game room, make meetings there. So today we're going to have a keynote we're thrilled about. So we'll start with a couple of opening remarks. I'll go through what's kind of the state of Enterprise 2.0 and what happened this year. So first of all, how many of you know what Enterprise 2.0 is or what it means? Oh, come on. Everybody, raise your hands. Or if you don't know, just say you don't know. Anyway, so enterprise tech. So we're looking at enterprise tech. And because we realize the enterprise is transforming, right? So the enterprise, we like to call our topics verticals, but this is really a horizontal, because no matter what business you're in, you do have these challenges. So we have, so we're looking at operational efficiencies, we look at regulatory compliance, digitization, and technology and distribution. And why we look at that is because we want to help you get to differentiate yourself, have your customers have a better customer experience, faster speed to market, increasing profits, which is always a good thing, and to have that competitive advantage. So that's why we started Enterprise 2.0 about a year ago. So we're thrilled that we're going to be graduating our second batch. So these are the types of technologies that we are looking at. So we segmented it out into HR and workforce and work tech. So you think about talent acquisition, talent retention, the gig economy, how to transform culture, how to maintain culture in a global environment and a global enterprise. So that's one segment of what we're looking at. The second segment is IT and platform. So we're looking at analytics, edge computing, RPA, blockchain, and data privacy. So you'll see some of those startups as well. And then the last piece of it is I like to call those pesky back office things that you need to do and every enterprise needs to do. And that is to become faster and better at like smart contracting, regulation compliance, and workflow automation and management. So we'll have some startups presenting in that area as well. So these are our founding partners of Enterprise 2.0. Willis Towers Watson has been our main supporter. ISG is a systems integrator. Recruit Technologies, they're here from Japan today, so thanks for coming. NEC, they also have they're our newest partner. They weren't here last year, so we're thrilled to have them on board. And then, of course, AT&T, which I think we're probably all familiar with, so we're thrilled to have them on board as well. This is the team that makes it all happen. So I'm the director. Anthony Walsh, if you're a prospective plug-and-play client, you may have gotten a call from Anthony. He's doing sales development because we'd like to increase our how do I go backwards? There we go. Increase the number of corporations that are on our platform. And the reason why we want to do that is because we want our startups to have the best opportunities for business development. And Zoe is our program manager, so I know that the startups have been loving working with Zoe these past 3 months. We've had 19 startups that have gone through the program. Nick Chow is the one who sources all the startups. He's our venture analyst. And then we just added Amit Patel to our team, and we're thrilled to have him on board. He's recently joined us as recently as 2 weeks ago. He's from GE Ventures, and we're thrilled to have him here. So this is who you'll be hearing from today. We did segment out the batch. The first startups that you'll be hearing from today are the HR and work tech startups. Then after the keynote and after the break, we'll have the general and administrative and IT and platform startups present. So we did a couple of events these past 3 months. We took our show on the road. We had an employee benefits reinvented event, so maybe you all were there for that. And then we also did technology and the future of work, and we did that in Cleveland, Ohio, with our partners in Cleveland, Cleveland Clinic being our main partner there. So this is what happened in the batch. We had 30 deal flows during the last 3 months. We conducted 46 office hours, and that's an opportunity for our startups to meet with the corporations one-on-one and really get to know each other. And we actually call this a little bit of a reverse deal flow. So instead of the startups pitching to the corporates are almost pitching to them to say, hey, these are my challenges and how can you help? And maybe what would be the things that would be a barrier to entry for the startup. And they discuss this. And I think 46 office hours over 3 months is a pretty robust number. We also had 2 startup CEO roundtables. And what that means is our startups, they have interesting challenges, and we'd like them to at least talk to each other to know how to navigate those challenges. We had 11 what we call minute to pitch it. And that is, if you get on YouTube or LinkedIn, you'll see all of our startups pitch their solution in 1 minute. And I think that's kind of a fun little way to get to intrigue or tease it to the startup. We had 55 mentors that are part of our program. So we are always constantly looking for people that are in these different areas that would like to mentor startups. So please let me know if you're interested. And most importantly, 70% of the active startups, and what I mean with startups that were here in the program, that came to the events, 70% of them landed a pilot program. That's a pretty remarkable number. Can we have a round of applause for that? And then, and 75% had an intro to at least one corporate partner. So that is why the startups are here. This is what they like to do. This is the environment we created, and we're thrilled about that. So, without any further ado, I'd like to introduce Megan Lee. We're thrilled to have her here. She's the CHRO of Panasonic. Panasonic has been a member of Plug and Play for quite a long time, and so we're thrilled that Megan has come out here from Newark, New Jersey, to come and tell us a little bit about cultivating innovation internally. So a couple of words about Megan. Megan is the Chief Human Resource Officer and Vice President of Corporate Planning and Strategic Initiatives at Panasonic Corporation in North America. She oversees Panasonic's HR, strategic planning, and special initiatives in North America. So thanks very much for coming, Megan. If we could get a round of applause for her. Thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you guys had a good lunch. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope I'm not putting you to sleep with my speech, so I'll try to make it interesting. Welcome, and thank you for being here. And I'd like to start. By the way, I want to say that my name is Megan Myungwon Lee. I'm a Korean American working for a Japanese company. We're going to talk about diversity a little later, but I just wanted to have that introduction as part of my starting remarks. So I'd like to start by asking you all a question. How many of you can remember what you wanted to do when you're growing up, way back when you're about 8 or 10 years ago? Can you show a hand? Okay. And now, how many of you are actually doing what you thought you'd be doing back then? Okay, thank you. Thank you for the good spirit. The truth is very few of us. It says 6% statistically doing the jobs. And I'm not moving the slides, so sorry about that. Okay, better. So only 6% of us statistically doing the jobs that we thought we would do when we were growing up. And that number is only going to decrease. And I think the audience here knows why. I don't think I need to explain. Because of technology disruption that many of you are driving, and accelerated rate of change is so dramatic that the now estimated that as many as 65% of kids entering grade school today will be doing the work that we don't know right now, that doesn't exist right now. I don't need to tell you this because the participants here today are really driving and accelerating the change. So I think you get this right away. I know we have a very diverse audience today, someone like me from a corporation or someone trying to start a new business. It made it a little bit challenging for me because of the different interest. But I think there is one thing that unites us is that we understand the need to leverage the technology for our future needs. And we are accelerating the disruption. So for years, HR professionals like me used to ask this famous question. I'm not sure if some of you have asked this question as well, that where you want to be, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I wanted to know that the candidates interview, how well they would align with their ambition and interest would align what we have in as part of our strategy. So again, I'd like to ask you by show of hands, how many of you are actually doing what you thought you would be doing 5 years ago? Okay. Wow, that's a lot. And I don't ask this question anymore. Thank you for participating, Sai. I don't ask this question anymore. Thank you. I don't ask this question anymore because it sounds silly now. And many of today's jobs didn't exist 10 or even 2 or 5 years ago. I see in even our companies, that our company is 100 years old, Panasonic, to be exact, and we come up with new jobs every year. And we are hiring, we are creating positions that we didn't have a couple years ago. That didn't happen when I started my career a long, long time ago. But even 5, 6 years ago, I didn't see that happening. But we see that every day, every day. And this year, I have created, just in HR, 3 different jobs that we didn't have last year. I think that's incredible. So one of my favorite authors, Clayton Christensen, it's hard to pronounce, best known of his book of disruptive innovation, expresses the same sentiment. In his recent book, How Will You Measure Your Life? He says, I had thought the destination was important, but it turned out it was the journey. I strongly recommend, if you don't know him, that you search him or read or hear what he has to say. For a long time, his research was about how to create a disruptive innovation by either creating new business or defending successful business from game changers. Later in his life and recently, he's talking more about having a life strategy early in your career and early in your life. He says if strategy is important for business and innovation, and if it's important for business, it should be important for your personal life as well. And your life strategy should be rooted in your personal values. Today's topic is cultivating innovation, as Connie introduced me. But as Clayton said, I'd like to shift the gear a little and make it personal. So this is a picture of my family 40 years ago. I'm not sure if you can guess which one I am. So today, I'm a head of HR and strategic initiatives for Panasonic. We do about $13 billion in North America. We have 27,000 employees in US and Mexico and Canada. We hired 5,000 employees last year. And it would it would not surprise, it would surprise no doubt my colleagues that my childhood dream was to become a housewife when I was growing up. I absolutely did not have any professional aspiration at all. I majored in art, and I was growing up. I wanted to get married, and I wanted to create a warm and loving family that my parents had provided for me. I wanted to be clear that I'm not saying at all that I'm disappointed with where I am today. I'm very happy and satisfied with where I am now. I just wasn't planning on doing what I do 40 years ago. And I shared this with you because I'm a good example of how dramatically change can happen as long as you're ready for that journey. And that journey can also be rewarding and satisfying only if you are flexible and open to make those adjustments along the way. I have to say, by the way, I cannot walk around the stage. I have this phobia, and I'm sure some of you do too, that I cannot do the talk like TED Talks. And as I was practicing the speech yesterday and today, and trust me, I did practice for this. And I thought about walking around the stage, and I said to myself, oh my God, what if I just completely forget my lines? So I decided to take a safer path and make sure that I deliver the message that I wanted to share with you. So if I seem a little nervous, this is not something that, this is not the talent that my mother gave me. All right, so moving on. I started as a bilingual secretary with Panasonic 30 years ago, and I was lucky to have that job with a degree in art from a college in Seoul, from Seoul, Korea. And the only skill I had at that time was typing skills. Some of you may not even know what a typewriter looks like. That was my only skill that got me a job with Panasonic. And I was bilingual, but I didn't even speak English very well then. But in 30 plus years of learning, I immersed myself in the culture that had been established way back in 1930 by this man, Konosuke Matsushita. And he was a business leader of extraordinary passion and vision, and someone who was significantly ahead of his time. And thanks to his leadership, Panasonic has been a purpose-driven organization from the very beginning. And one with a founding ideal that is evergreen to improve people's life and make the world a better place. So one of our new brand platform in North America reflects the decades-old vision, yet with the focus on updatable technology platform that is empower our customers and their customers to improve their lives in many different ways. And we create that technology that moves us towards a better life and better world. I know we have few partners from Japan, and I'm sure you guys are familiar with Konosuke Matsushita as a great business and philosopher, but it certainly spoke to me as I started and still enjoy the career with Panasonic. So Mr. Matsushita's management philosophy was created way back in 1930s. Yet his writings and teachings contain many of the ideas that are being taught in advanced management schools 80 years later to this date. And ideas like fairness and honesty, humility, adaptability, gratitude is not something that US companies readily practiced 20, 30 years ago. But I think we realized that a lot of, especially larger companies, with trying to adapt with the younger generation of works that seek to work for a company with purpose, this is really the core of our foundation, and we're very proud of that. And his 7 business principles still appear on the back of our business card. And this is no accident that his philosophy is as profound and modern and now as ever. And Mr. Matsushita was able to grow Panasonic from a small startup in 1918, where his first product was on dual light socket. I don't know if you can see it. On the left corner. That was our first product that he created with his wife in 1918. 1918 when he started his business. So his leadership allowed us to grow and expand around the world, including here in North America, where the brand still has tremendous equity and goodwill and people still think of us as a consumer electronics company. And I'm sure many of you still know that, but we don't sell TVs anymore. Our business has evolved into something very different. Where we are now leveraging our core consumer technologies into integrated technology solution from B2B to even business to government, and helping them navigate disruption in their industries and deliver better experience in their customers and their end users. So in fact, our business here in North America has evolved much faster and more dramatic than most people realize. So in 2008, our business was about $8 billion, and our business was 50-50 in consumer electronics and B2B solutions area. And our former chairman of North America is here, Mr. Joe Taylor. If you can. So he lived through, he was my boss until 2 years ago. I was never your boss. And he lived through the transition and grew our company to be bigger and larger in revenue, but totally a B2B and solution company, and managed to still grow the business. We're now $13 billion this year, or last year, 2018, and our business in consumer now is about not even $500 million. And 95% of our business coming from B2B. I think it's remarkable. So why did we change so dramatically? I'd like to think that we were prepared for this change, and I think we're lucky too, but it was a lot of hard work and a little bit of luck. But I think we definitely had to change, and we had such a sense of urgency to make sure that we do not lose the momentum and make sure we stay relevant in North America. And North America, Panasonic is actually leading the transformation of Panasonic globally, because we're the first one to completely transform our business into more focus on B2B and realize that we're not going to stay competitive in consumer electronics. So this is why we embrace disruption and cultivating a culture of innovation that is so critical. And the sense of urgency I have now, and I know the innovation and collaboration and all that sounds really good, and we talk about it all the time, but as someone who worked for Panasonic for 30 years in human resources for a 100-year-old company, the sense of urgency I have now is no doubt heightened every year or every month, because the demand from business is changing so dramatically, and more so the employees' needs for an organization, especially a larger organization like this, is changing every day. I love this remark from our founder, that as we try to keep up with the changes, he said a long time ago that I've not failed, I just found 10,000 different ways that didn't work. Isn't this great? Someone who was so successful had the foresight to admit that he just failed, and he knew that how failing and failing fast and often is the key to innovation. So our work in Japan and elsewhere on smart city initiatives and traffic management technology led us to develop a relationship with the city of Denver in Colorado, ultimately creating a series of joint public and private initiatives. We built a state-of-the-art facility that we opened about 3 years ago, and we've been working with the Colorado Department of Transportation on deploying the very first intelligent transportation system that will revolutionize traffic management operations throughout the state, and ultimately improving roadway efficiencies, and most importantly, reducing crashes, injuries, and fatalities. So I'd like to show a short video. that shows how that works. All right, you probably had no idea that we're involved in something like this with the government, with the city of Denver and Colorado. And we are expanding the relationship going beyond just the state of Colorado. So these are the anticipated benefits of the project in Denver and why there is so much promise of extending this technology solution to the rest of the country. And we're working 2 and 3 other states to expand this system. Without incurring the expense of expanding the roadways, Denver is expecting to realize 400% in roadway capacity through the deployment of this technology. And they estimate that crashes will be reduced by about 80%. I think that's remarkable. And improving the roadway throughput, by improving roadway throughput and efficiency, people will spend less time sitting in traffic. I read somewhere that we spend, including myself, spend about 100 hours a year sitting in traffic when there's a congestion. And by reducing congestion, we're also helping to reduce emission and lessen the environmental impact of traffic. So V2X represents a potential game changer, and it came about through trial and errors that we had, but we were willing to work that through and create values for our customers in B2B areas. And as you can see, we can't rely on our base businesses, and that's why we don't sell TVs anymore in US. And we were at one point had a $4 billion in revenue in our consumer business in 2008, and now we're completely shifted to make sure that we stay relevant and grow. And we need to pursue strategic initiatives like our EV business and game changers like the Sirius program that I just shared with you. Speaking of our EV, or electric vehicle, do you guys notice the picture? How many of you know? No? Okay. Thank you. Speaking of our EV, electric vehicles, battery business, did you know that Gigafactory up in Reno, Nevada, we partner with providing, we're the sole provider of their lithium-ion batteries plant, and that's a joint venture between us and Tesla Motors, is the largest manufacturing plant on any kind on Earth. And it's not completed yet, and once that's completed, it is massive as is, it will be incredible. You also may not know that Panasonic is the global leader in lithium-ion battery technology. This is a quite different business for us, but at the same time, getting back to our founders' core mission of staying true to our core, committing ourselves to the progress of society and the improvement of people's lives, becoming the leader in green transportation, is a logical application of our technology and manufacturing ability. And speaking of our EV, here at the Gigafactory, we have about 450 engineers working from Japan, with right now 3,000 employees we hired locally, including the former Las Vegas city bartenders. Reno itself is not a large city, and we had a really difficult time hiring resources to really keep that factory launched. And it was a perfect example of diverse and dynamic workforce showing the ability to learn, grow, and adapt while helping our company to do the same. So I'd like to introduce a person who was responsible for this massive recruiting and staffing. Tina Slattery is a director of our talent acquisition. Tina has a really interesting career history. We hired her when she was 19 years old, when she was going to Rutgers, and we hired as an intern. And she left us once, a few years later, and came back, left again, and came back again. When she left us last time, I told her, Tina, I'm not going to say goodbye to you anymore, because I know you'll come back. When we were tasked to hire 300 employees in Reno a month 2 years ago, we knew that we had to do something different. So we called Tina back, and we created a project team with internal and external resources, and she was able to make it happen. And now we have 3,500 employees on site working 24 hours, 7 days a week. The turnover is higher. I have to say that keeping the employees focused and the retention is extremely difficult. But for now, we're doing the production as we committed to do with our partner, Tesla Motors. So the success of initiatives really underscores the value of diversity, not just in terms of age, gender, and race, but different way of thinking, values, and background and ideas. I see you guys believe in the value of diversity, but I cannot express enough how a company like us to stay relevant. The power of diversity is really important. And personally, as you can see, it's the most important commitment for me that I can do for the company that I work for, Panasonic. So I'd like to show you another short video. This is my favorite. So we created this with employees for our company, and it kind of expresses really the message that we want to say. I don't know about you. Every time I see that video, it makes me a little teary. So our founder has said, we make people before we make products. And we really believe that mission, and that's what we are trying to do at Panasonic. So I'd like to talk a little bit about my professional field. I know Enterprise 2.0 focuses on HR and technology part 2. I always thought HR was coming kind of late into the technology and automation and all that. And we started, at least when I started, we had a title of personnel manager, and we kind of evolved into business partners, and now we'd like to call ourselves strategic partner. And that is happening all because of the technology evolution. And I believe it in the service delivery that we do for our business leaders and employees. This is our HR management spectrum that we work with. And it is really interesting that about 5, 6, or even 10 years ago, we were really focusing on creating financial efficiencies, leveraging HR. And that meant making HR more removed and really supporting the business leaders who can really improve the profit and bottom line and remove the services from everyday employees. With the technology, we can really customize and personalize the services that reach to all employees. This is happening in recent 1 to 3 years, 1 to 2 years. And this is what we're really focused on doing because we all know that unemployment rate is really low. And the key talent, whether unemployment is rate low or high, the key talent is someone that you will have a very difficult time recruiting and retain regardless of the employment rate. And we would like to make their work experience personal, customized, and appreciated. I read this, and I don't even know what $500 billion look like. But I think we all know that this engaged employees cost company a lot of money, hitting direct the bottom line. So the partnership we have with Plug and Play, and we've been working with Plug and Play at least more than 10 years, is really important for an old company like this because we don't get a chance to be exposed to new and different and evolving technology or new ideas. And we really cherish the relationship we have with Plug and Play, and even the fact that I'm here and I'll be meeting you with some of the guys after this, because that's the very effective way for us to be exposed to different ideas and startups. So, and this is our technology roadmap for Panasonic in North America. We started working with Workday when they were really new. We were their 200th customer. And when we were making that decision, it was really risky because they were not proven to be effective. But we took a chance because we had a business needs that we had to solve. We had a growing employee population outside of US. And we needed a technology that can support their needs and business needs. So we started Workday, and now this is the roadmap. And I have to say, 60% of these companies are very young or started as startups. For a company like us, working with startups is very difficult because all the gruesome procurement process that we have to go through with procurement and IT, it's not easy. But we take a chance, not only because to improve the bottom line, but really, like I said before, really engage our employees in a customized way and make sure that employees' work experience with Panasonic is meaningful and exciting. So we did all. I believe curiosity is the foundation that enables innovation at all levels. Without curiosity, we cannot learn. I cannot learn. Without curiosity, we cannot make an authentic personal relationships. And I believe that is the foundation of any innovation or collaboration. I know I'm doing a little bit too much of marketing of our founder, but Konosuke Matsushita, before he died, when he was asked, who do you hire? What's your hiring criteria? And he said, I hire with someone with charming personality and luck. KM himself was not charming, and he didn't have a lot of luck. When he couldn't even finish grade school, and he was so weak when he was a doctor told his mother that your boy probably will not live until 30 years old. When he died in 92 years old, he had 300,000 employees with a $70 billion global business, and he was 92 years old. His favorite value is a childlike curiosity, he said. That's the most important value I have. And with that, he was able to make his own luck and became a charming individual. That helps. And so I said I started as a bilingual secretary. And today I have this honor, and as you can tell, I was very nervous. And as if I know something important for you to offer. And I hope I didn't waste your time. But Panasonic also started 100 years ago with a small light bulb socket. And we were able to evolve into something we have now, having a global enterprise and succeeding and growing in North America. I firmly believe that curiosity and humility is the key to personal and professional innovation. And with that, I'd like to end my speech. Thank you.
You know, this was not rehearsed, but you know, some people, may I borrow one of those water? Yeah, thanks. So some people ask me, why do I do plug and play? Or why do I show up like 5 days a week at 7 o'clock here? I'm sorry. It is really because we help entrepreneurs to succeed and to realize their dream and make money. But also, I would love if Joe Taylor can come up here. I would, please, this is what not rehearsed, but no, we're not going anywhere. We are right here. But it really gives me like pleasure that a great company like Panasonic comes to Plug and Play and we go through this journey together. And the most important thing for me is the relationship I have with Joe Taylor, with Panasonic, with great companies of the world. Because we want to make a better world through technology. I truly believe that is possible. And something, Megan, I really enjoyed, Megan Lee, your talk. It was very touching, very personal. But something that she skipped, and Joe told me upstairs, he transformed the company with increasing profits as well. And that's why now they have become the leader of transformation of Panasonic from US to the rest of the world. And again, if I could conclude before I have Joe give some remarks, again, this was not planned. It's quite a coincidence he's here and Panasonic was the keynote. Let's do this together. Let's have fun. Let's have a great journey together, no matter if it is Enterprise 2.0 or any other vertical that we work together. So a few words from Joe, and he's a great friend. Thank you.
I haven't worked for 2 years. I don't know how to give a speech anymore. First off, Megan, you did a remarkable job. If you were nervous, I couldn't tell. And Saeed, you said it, the point was, it was so personal. And I think that was the point of the whole thing. And I think we all, well, I don't know about all of us, but Saeed and I got a little choked up about it. So great job, Megan. And I think that's indicative, that really is indicative of Panasonic. But so I didn't change the world. The Panasonic team with executives like Megan changed the world. But the point is, we only align ourselves with people who think the same way we do. We could never have this relationship for 10 years if the companies didn't have a culture that was similar. Yeah, we're Japanese and you're crazy Silicon Valley, but the core of it is it's the same. How do we make the world better? How do we, Saeed and I were talking earlier, and I said, we were talking about what our most proud accomplishment is, and it's not about making money, it's all these jobs we created around the world. And that made the world a better place. That's what we're most proud of. And I think you helped make Panasonic a better company. We helped Plug and Play be a better company. And in the end, I think that's the most important thing. You can make money or you cannot make money. What's the mark you leave in the world when you're done? And I think it's much bigger than just making money, and that's why we've had such a great relationship. So thank you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Sorry for getting a little choked up. I'm a little sensitive.
Well, thanks, Saeed and Joe. I never thought I'd make my boss cry, but we did that today, didn't we? Anyway, it's so inspirational to work here. It's being part of the innovation journey. It is just a great opportunity. We are in the hotbed of all change, in Silicon Valley, and we are 28 locations around the world. So we're just thrilled to be part of this ecosystem that Saeed had a dream about probably about 14 years ago. So without any further ado, I want to ask a question. How many events do you think we have a year at Plug and Play? Just shout it out, and no Plug and Players are allowed to answer that. Just shout it out. 100? How about 750 events a year? So we know how to put startups on stage. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to get them to meet you and you get their sort of supercharge their business development opportunities. So today we have Jillian Tandler, who's VP of Sales of Opal. And he's a portfolio company. And he participated in the Enterprise 2.0 vertical, probably the first batch, I'd say. And what he's going to do is a little 10-minute take on the journey from startup introduction to corporate to commercial contract. So without any further ado, Jillian Tandler. Thanks.
Good afternoon, everybody. Again, my name is Julian Tandler. I am the VP of Sales and Business Development at Opal. Opal stands for Optimized Learning. But before we get into a little bit of a summary of the company, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to, and I love the fact that Saeed got up here and talked about the journey, because that's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about the journey that we, as a portfolio company of Plug and Play, have had over the past year or so, and getting to our largest commercial agreement through that. And this story is really meant to help you as the partners realize what it looks like from our side, and to help you understand a little bit about all the different opportunities that there are here that I see, and we've been able to deliver value to the corporate partners through those opportunities. So just a little bit about Opal. So at Opal, we are taking the cost and complexity out of delivering AI in the enterprise. And we're accelerating the time to value from the idea to an algorithmic model in production by a minimum of 10x through our platform. Our software models the intuition of the world's top data scientists, putting into the hands of our customers a platform that enables their PhD data scientists, their citizen data scientists, technical domain experts, even business domain experts with no formal data science training to actually build, deploy, and put into production production-grade AI models. And what we like to talk about is don't overthink AI. But let's start with the journey. So we founded Opal in March of 2017. We're based in San Mateo. We closed our seed round of $2 million in December of 2017, of which Plug and Play participated. So that was the beginning of our journey. We went GA with our first product in January of 2018. And what I did was I made my mission as being a partner, as a startup of Plug and Play, a portfolio company, to participate in every single possible event. I never turned down a deal flow. I never turned down an opportunity. As a result, we've participated in nearly every single vertical and a batch in each one. And I want to talk specifically about Enterprise 2.0 because it has led to our largest commercial agreement. And I want to tell you that story. So the story begins with the fact that you guys are doing deal flows, and I think everybody understands what that is. That's when you get meetings coordinated, you come and spend the day as a partner, and you're meeting tens or dozens. I don't know how many you guys deal with, but each time I come in, it seems like it's, you've just seen so many different companies. But that's just one thing. There are so many other events. There's things like today where you get the Summer Summit, but where we were discovered by one of the largest partners of Plug and Play, of which we closed this commercial contract. I can't mention their name, unfortunately, due to some contractual restrictions around that. But they discovered us at a Focus Day, and it was an Enterprise 2.0. And the reason I talk about that is it's important as partners to not just come to these big events. It's important to come to as many events as possible, because that's where we got discovered by this company. And afterwards, I was pulled aside by their head of innovation, and we had a short discussion. And from there, we were immediately introduced to their head of global digital transformation. And we began a process whereby we went through an initial technology test. So we put the product in their hands. But it was an amazing experience because we would never have had this opportunity to engage with this size of company, having only started our business in mid-2017, in 2018. And when we did that initial tech test, what they were doing was they were having a data scientist compare a model that they had built by hand using our software as a comparison to see how quickly our software could enable them to build and deliver the same model, and what could it perform better. And so we got very well aligned, and it turned out to be a success. Now, that was just the first step. So this is also for the startups in the room too, which is when you're selling into these very large enterprises, you have to be willing to take your time. It's a marathon, it is not a sprint. It's very important, and you must respect the pace at which the partners want to move as well. So that was the first step. And after we got through that step, they wanted that we got introduced to more and more folks, and eventually made it into the office of the CIO. And they decided they wanted to do a 3-month pilot with us, and a paid pilot. So that was the first step that we did. Now, this all just started last November, and we're just now closing the largest commercial enterprise deal that we've closed as a company, not only here at Plug and Play, but overall. And so through that pilot, it was amazing. They actually exposed us. When we do these paid pilots, it's paid, but we give unlimited users so that we can allow the partner company to actually expose as many of their employees to the product as possible. Remember, I'm talking about AI, something that people think is very complex, very difficult. And the idea and what they were pursuing was, can we actually put a platform in place that enables not only our team of amazing data scientists to accelerate and deliver more, but enable our engineers and our business domain experts to also deliver AI. So that was the mission. So as we went through the pilot, the first step was we gave an overview, and they invited 3,000 of their employees to come and listen to that overview. And that was before we kicked off the pilot. And then when we kicked off the pilot, I think we had 70 or 80 some odd folks that actually got in and used the product during that 3-month period. And it was an interesting dichotomy because you had the data scientists, the folks that really understand this, getting to know a platform that's automating parts of their job. It can be a little scary for the data scientists. But then you also have business and technical domain experts that know their business and their area of expertise so well, but they're not data scientists. They're not machine learning engineers. And so they're using our product to actually build AI models without that experience. And what ended up happening was they succeeded. And they came up with a number of different comparisons where they compared using different tools. We actually beat the #1 product in the Gartner Magic Quadrant. We're not even in it yet. But they had the data scientists, again, compete against our tool. And then they also have had the data scientists evaluate the performance and the value of the models that the business and the technology domain experts were building. And as a result, they decided, hey, this is absolutely amazing. We want to move forward. But the way that we got there was We worked very hard with them, and I think this is something that I would encourage all of you partners to really work with the startups on, and the startups in the room to work on with your partners, which is to develop a mutual success plan. And a mutual success plan meaning, how are you going to judge the success of this paid pilot? How are you going to make a decision on whether or not you're going to spend money on this product? And so we came up with that, and it came down to speed, it came down to performance, and it came down to consistency. And we had different measures of all those different things that were agreed to. And at the end, this partner did such an amazing job of presenting back to us their results in an amazing slide deck they put together, comparing the manual process and other tools they used versus ours. And in every one of those, our tool was able to beat those. But the story here is the amount of effort that the partner put into this. And I want to tell you that I firmly believe that the reason the partner is putting that much effort and did put that much effort into this engagement is because of the culture at Plug and Play and the opportunity and the journey that Plug and Play drives, as Saeed said, the mission to actually get the largest companies in the world to engage with the little small startups with the cutting edge technology. And it was because of that, that's what enabled our success. It was their mindset, driven by the Plug and Play mindset, combined with us jumping into that fray as well, that enabled them to actually put in the time to succeed. And I just want to close by saying that we are right now just about to close the largest commercial agreement in our company's history, and we couldn't have done it without Plug and Play. I would encourage all of you partners to come to every event, any possibility you can to engage with the startups. And startups, take every opportunity that you can possibly get to engage with partners. And Enterprise 2.0, that was the source of our biggest deal and the source of an engagement with our partner that is enabling them to really, really boost their bottom line. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jillian. It's nice to hear from the startups' point of view what their journey was and how the corporates and the startups can meet, and the 750 events that we're having a year. Please come to 1 or 2 of them so that you can actually meet some of the great startups. But who's ready to hear some startup pitches? All right. Okay, so we're going to have 5 HR startups present. They'll be presenting for 3 minutes each. They will introduce themselves. It'll be somewhat rapid fire, and then we'll end with the break. So to our first startup, here we go. Next. Oh.
How's that? Great. Thanks so much for taking time to let us present to you today. I'll go first up. That's a heck of an act to follow. I'm Eli Wiseman, and I work with a firm called Tailspin, and we are a spatial computing company, and we are focused on the future of work. You'll hear a lot about machine learning and AI, but we're actually focused on making your humans better, all right? So we're focused on job training, field tools, and workforce intelligence. And broadly, what that means in spatial computing is virtual reality, augmented reality, and mixed reality. And I'm going to show you a little bit about how we apply those to the workforce lifecycle. So you've heard a bit about it already, but work is changing, right? Both the workforce and the workplace are going through the biggest transformation in history. We've heard some good points about that today. Automation is going to impact deeply the labor hours by 2025. About half will be impacted in some way by artificial intelligence and machine learning. The changing of the workforce. So we hear a lot about the graying of the workforce. So there's 2 big things that are impacting this, right? So the age of the workforce, transferring that knowledge out is more critical than ever. And Gen Zs, who are the coming workforce, expect their first employer to provide all of the training they need to do their job. They also happen to be foregoing university. So Like I said, we're focused on human enablement rather than technology and automation. Although there is incredible value there, we believe that technology is going to enhance human performance for the foreseeable future. So, in this age of automation and AI, your people matter more than ever. 81% of executives say that talent shortage is the biggest issue facing their company. So, this gives us solutions across the workforce lifecycle, from recruiting the right people to training them, transferring knowledge, developing them, and empowering them to move up and move across the business more quickly than ever as these shifting jobs change. Like we saw earlier, these jobs didn't exist even 2 years ago, so rapid knowledge transfer is very important. That's why we're focused on 3 areas: object training, learning the names of everything in the business; process training, learning how to actually do your job; and then probably the most important is soft skills training. So developing your ability to communicate is more important in any of these jobs than ever. We feel that rapid experience building combined with soft skills training will allow your employees to succeed really when it matters. So we're excited to be here today. We encourage you to come by upstairs, set an appointment with us so that we can tell you a little bit more about Virtual Human and the success that we're having with that product. Thank you so much for your time. I'm Eli, and I'm with Tailspin. Bye-bye.
Can everybody hear me? Excellent. Oop. Okay. My name is Sean Hinton. I'm founder and CEO of Skyhive Technologies. I come to you as a reformed corporate executive. So prior to launching Skyhive, I was CEO of the world's largest water park company. So if you've been on a cruise ship or to Atlantis or to Disney, the company that I ran was most likely the company that built those attractions that you and your family have fun on. A series of events in 2016 led me to realize that I knew very little about my 500-person workforce. And what I mean by that is I knew what I had hired them to do, but I didn't necessarily know what they were capable of. And we heard from Megan at Panasonic the whole notion of reskilling, upskilling, and not really having a labor market with record low unemployment. And so I started to apply thinking around deep learning technology that would help us find people with the right skills and ensure that the workforce could remain reskilled and upskilled quickly. And this predated sort of the concept of the future of work. So what Skyhive is it's an enterprise platform that uses deep learning. It's the world's first deep learning real-time labor market ontology with respect to technical and soft skills. And we apply that through a variety of applications that help a company reskill and upskill with respect to talent acquisition, engagement, and ongoing learning and development. So the product looks something like this. Oh. There is a video in here, but it's not wanting to play. So we have a full live demo up at our booth, so come and see us and we can show you the technology. So in terms of the worker side, we help support skills discovery so people can understand how their skills and experiences, both educationally and through work experience, apply to their careers at large. We as a result, are able to achieve a 91.6% reduction in the time to hire. We have 100% elimination of gender and ethnic bias, and we've confirmed that through our work with the Canadian military. We are able to generate a 3x larger candidate pool in terms of highly qualified candidates, and an average shortlist is 36 hours. With our enterprise product, we're the world's first adaptive learning management system, so we're able to see gaps in the company, gaps in the workforce, and provide direct adaptive learning pathways to getting people upskilled and reskilled. We're the world's only skills-based onboarding tool, and come upstairs and check out what that would mean. And again, helping companies support rapid upskilling. So we seamlessly integrate with existing HR technologies, Workday, SuccessFactors, Oracle. We have an employee dashboard and user flow, which is very important to our technology. So come see us upstairs. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Nikhil Khosla, COO of Plus One. At Plus One, we build immersive learning solutions and training solutions to help your employees become better communicators. Prior to Plus One, I spent 7 years in corporate America designing content and curriculum that was used to train over 3,000 employees. From my experience, I can tell you that employee training is important to employees, but specifically to millennials. And that's important to note because in the next 3 years, millennials will make up more than 50% of the US workforce. There's one specific area, as Eli from Tailspin alluded to, that millennials feel like is underserved, with 60% of them saying that leadership skills is an area that they feel like needs more attention. If we unpack leadership skills, that's primarily focused on communication and soft skills. Corporations also realize that if they don't invest in effective leadership training programs, they'll lose some of their best employees within the first year. So clearly, corporations are investing in these programs, but why are they ineffective? Well, it's largely a function of underinvesting in one key area. Corporations spend big money bringing in the best training programs taught by the best trainers. But that's only the 10 and 20% that you see up there. When it comes to skill acquisition, the majority of the learning actually happens when employees have sufficient opportunities to practice and apply those skills in risk-free environments. This is where corporations seem to miss the mark. Said differently, our current approach to training is like telling someone how to ride a bike and the same breath saying, oh, by the way, I signed you up for the Tour de France. It's not gonna happen. Well, if it does, I imagine the outcomes will be humorous at best and painful at worst for everyone involved. The same is true for training. Without sufficient opportunities to practice and apply what employees learn in training, they'll forget 75% within a week. That's precisely why we created the Smart Tutor. It's an immersive learning solution aimed at helping employees improve their English communication and soft skills. It's developed with mixed reality and artificial intelligence and based on the concept of spaced repetition. The way the solution works, after training, once the employee gets back to their desk, they put on these VR glasses, use the knowledge that they learned during in-person training, and engage in natural conversations with our smart tutors. At the end of the lesson, our AI engine evaluates your performance, provides objective feedback and scoring, and advice on how to improve these key communication metrics. So there's a lot of value in the Smart Tutor, but I'm going to focus on one, knowledge retention. By using Smart Tutor and spaced repetition, we've been able to increase the amount of information that your employees retain. This means that your employees will actually use what they've learned in training to drive business objectives. We already have, we've raised money from institutional investors both in the US as well as in Asia, and we have ongoing programs in place with some of the biggest corporations in Japan. The reason a lot of these clients choose our solution, it's customizable to their specific needs, integratable with their existing programs, and effective in helping employees improve their communication and soft skills. The reason we're here today is we're growing faster than we even anticipated, so I'd love to speak to any VCs that are interested in the investment opportunity or corporate partners that are looking to start a program. Thank you.
Good afternoon, I'm Federico Dubini from Yobs Technologies. Yobs is an HR software for large enterprises. We started Yobs because after having developed multiple companies at the company level, at every size, in every industry, in different markets, we saw that the problem was always the same, recruiting. So we started to understand why recruiting was a problem, and we saw many issues behind recruiting, but we thought that in the era of automation, personality, emotional intelligence, soft skills became the biggest predictor of future performance. And the fact that resume and cover letter never evolved together with these metamorphoses of the workplace was the biggest factor leading to the problems that we face. In particular, resume, where you can basically just understand the school and the job experience of the candidates and any personality data, makes the process very biased and very long, where you have resume checking, phone screening, and multiple in-person interviews. So what we saw is that at the same time, a lot of companies were adopting a lot of video interview software, but video interview software doesn't solve the problem because video interviews are still very long and still include a personal judgment, not a standardized system to help company because of merit. So we developed a software that integrates with video interviews, ATS and HRAS, to detect 430 parameters, verbal and nonverbal cues, facial expression, voice, grammar, how you move your body, how you move your eyes, the hesitation when you speak, to define the candidate's personality and the employee personality, and then predict performance. So we did a bunch of validation studies with top industrial psychologists in the nation, and we showed that we are able to increment time to hire by 62%. We are able to increment the success of in-person interview by 43%. And very importantly, today, we are also able to increment diversity because we help HR managers to judge people because of potential and not because of pedigree. So we sell directly to large enterprise, specifically in financial services, in fashion, but in different industries. With a subscription model. We also collaborate with many companies in the same industry to enhance their features, as a Decom and Power, for example. So we bet on the team since day one, and we work, most importantly, with the best industrial psychology in the nations, and this allowed us to avoid all the problems that similar software had about adverse impact. So we made sure, for example, that we had people with autism, darker skin color, accents, and diverse nationality to have the same chance. Thank you very much. We have a table upstairs, happy to chat, and happy to explain why the multiple corporations that already joined us had a lot of improvements with us. Thank you very much.
It would have been amazing if I tripped. Hi guys, I'm Aditi, and I am the founder and CEO of Zeta. Zeta is a financial wellness platform for millennial families. And the reason I'm standing here in front of you today is because millennial families are really struggling with money. Most of them are dealing with crushing student loan and credit card debt, rising costs of living, and stagnating salaries. And as a result of that, a lot of these young couples are cash-strapped and overextended. My job is to help the 54% of employees who want help managing their finances get help from their employers. This struggle creates an opportunity for you. What's most interesting to us is while financial stress causes distraction and lack of productivity at work, one of the things that it also solves for is retention. One of the issues that it solves for is retention. And interestingly, 56% of millennials say that they would stick in a job at a company that really cared about their financial wellness. And what's amazing about financial wellness programs is that about 73% of them have very high engagement rate. So you know that you can get a lot of bang for your buck. At Zeta, we want to help you tap into that opportunity. We've built an end-to-end solution that helps your employees get more secure and stable and confident about their finances. Whether it's helping them figure out how to manage their income, manage their spending, save for college, or help plan for a kid, Zeta offers real-time custom solutions to help that employee maximize their money. Our goal is to make this benefit so powerful that they'd want to brag about it to everybody that you know. Our comprehensive sort of Zeta at Work program allows users to essentially offload their financial chores to us. Imagine not having to deal with your bills, not having to figure out when to pay your debt, and being able to hand over all of that to someone else. That's exactly what Zeta does. Our custom personal finance platform gives them real-time insights into their money. Our coaching program allows them to access help when they need it, and our financial assistants will handle their money chores so they don't have to fight about it. One of the things that we really care about is making you look great, so we do a bunch of stuff for you as well. We've instituted a program that takes over 95% of the program management, really making this a turnkey solution for you. And then what we do is we take the data that we're capturing along the program and allow you to come in and offer even more support to your families, to your employees. Imagine being able to pay the last $500 of their student loan debt off, or being able to help them with a down payment because they want to buy a home one day. That's exactly what Zeta allows you to do. The last thing we really pay attention to are security practices. We're using industry standard security practices to ensure that their data is protected and secure. We also have a highly audited system on our side to ensure that there's no fraud, that they can really learn to trust us, and they can leverage Zeta along the way. If you're interested in learning more about how to bring financial wellness to your company, come talk to me. Thanks.
Thank you to all the startups. Can we have a round of applause for them? That ends our HR section of the pitches. We're going to take a 10-minute break. During the break, please remember to vote on the startups. All that information is on the QR code. You scan that, and you can get access to the voting ballot right there. Thanks, and we'll see you in 10 minutes.
bottom. But you don't have to touch that. Don't touch that. It's silenced, so when they go up and they just, you don't have to do anything.
Okay. Or sometimes need an afterthought to keep things humanized and keep things really genuine as far as why did we start doing this in the first place?
Things that have been really intriguing is around the way that you can hopefully use employee benefits and technology to defer costs of people as well. Being better about notifications, being better about outreach to defer people from going to the doctor when they don't need to.
We're in the middle of the fourth industrial revolution, and we're seeing a perfect storm between increase in the availability and types of data, increase in the computing power for AI and automation. It certainly is going to have a really interesting impact in the future of work, and it basically means that the provision of group benefits have to evolve in this new landscape.
Really interesting to see how the future of work is sort of evolving and what that means to customers, what it means to the employer community. I think taking into account people's personal preferences and allowing them greater accessibility to the understanding of the benefits that are being provided to them and let them have their own personal preferences.
For me, looking at the benefits is we kind of sea changes, right? So there's sea changes in content, there's sea changes in need, and there's sea changes in delivery. And that is just really great to be able to see kind of companies that are working on the leading edge of kind of what's happening in the industry.
Play is always throughout helping us to find new prospects, and that will give us many opportunities to think about new business development.
The demographic shifts, cultural shifts are all happening all around us. And it's a collision of these things which are creating some really interesting opportunities for us.
Great. Welcome back to part 2 of Enterprise 2.0. We are going to be having our IT and general administrative startups pitch. Again, it's a 3-minute each pitch. They'll announce themselves. And please remember to vote. So thanks very much. Here we go.
Hello. Okay, works. Hi, I'm Lori Jordan, and I am with Zeroa, and I am here to talk to you about Zeroa's visual intelligence. So right now, imagine Susan. She's someone at a corporation who needs to assess a lot of data, and she's looking at data pools that are mostly structured. But what she's missing out on is this data ocean that is coming towards her now with exponentially increasing data files that are video and images and documents. And it has value, but less than 1% of companies right now in the world are using their unstructured data to make business decisions. And we're here to help change that. How do we do it? So we actually go through everything you have that's unstructured. We organize it. We tell you what you have, where it is, and how you can use it. And then we extract valuable data. So this is one example of a document where we've extracted the data that you were looking for. Key applications are document analysis, categorization, and full e-discovery of the items that you're looking for. And this can be, again, across documents that are PDF'd and scanned in, images, and video. And we have a great team. Our team actually comes from the media and entertainment space to begin with, and they all have awards in visual software. And they're very dedicated to making it possible for people to actually pull data out of all of their unstructured assets. And we do this using machine learning and other APIs, and we have partners like Google, Oracle, Microsoft Azure, AWS. We also work with clients like Sony Pictures Imageworks and Leica, both in media and entertainment, and we have other clients and partners who are under NDA, so I can't say their names on stage, but you would know them if I said them. And that is what I have for you today. Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. Can you guys hear me? Yeah. Hi, I'm Geeta Banda from Diana AI. And What we are building is a BI analytics tool which is accessible for everyone in the organization and not just for data analysts by using natural language and voice. Just to give you an example, most of the data tools at the moment which are available in the market, so you guys might have heard of Tableau, Power BI, MicroStrategy, or SAS, all of them are very technical and are built for your data analysts on the top. All the rest of them in the organization, which is the executives or sales and marketing associates, all of them just wait for these data analysts to give them reports or dashboards. What we're building is this. So technically, I'll typically go through a salesperson, but imagine yourself in this particular role. Either you're a manager, or you're an executive, or you want to actually get and look at a dashboard for your KPIs. So this is Andy. He's a sales manager, and he wants to look at how his sales are doing in his organization. Today, he currently looks at his reports and dashboards. If he doesn't find the answers, he goes to a self-service tool, which again, he trained for about 2 months ago, and he forgot how to use it. And then he'll go to a data team to put in a request. That request goes to a queue. They do the data analysis, and then the new report or dashboard is built. After that, Andy has more questions. But this whole process takes about 7 days to 4 months typically to build that dashboard or report. And Andy has more questions, so he goes back through the whole cycle again. So at this time adds over time. So what we're wanting to build is to make it much simpler, and absolutely, I think we have made it much, much simpler. So we don't want to do any of those middle parts. If Andy has a question, he just asks, and in English. And imagine if you can just ask questions in seconds and build on it. For example, you can ask questions like, show me top 10 products by sales, or show me growth in sales, or show me sales for the last 10 years, show that year on year. And it's mostly question on top of question. And you can have a conversation with your data and see that visualization. I'll just show you a quick video. It's my voice again, I'm sorry. Just move. Can you load data?
This is what I found.
Show me sales, profit, and units sold. Start over. Show me sales by product. Can you pin this? Start over. Show me sales by month. I know there's a bigger video, but I'm running out of time. So at the moment, the product has no coding, no training required, no infrastructure needs, so you don't have to go through the IT process of making sure you have infrastructure. And also, it's contextual, so you can ask a question on top of a question, so you don't have to go through the entire cycle again. So from an ask perspective, we are seeking pilots. So far, we've done multiple pilots through Plug and Play, and we are looking to expand that and grow. So please reach out to us upstairs if you have any questions or if you are interested in doing some more pilots with us. And my email's here as well. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Claudius Kaicher, founder and chief data scientist of Mostly AI. In many years of working as a data scientist, I've frequently encountered the painful clash between the need in innovation to open up your data and share them as widely as possible, and the need for privacy, where you want to restrict access as much as possible. Classic anonymization techniques approach this by removing parts of the data that you deem identify individuals and leaving the rest intact. The problem with that is that it doesn't work. And you cannot improve the situation by removing more of the data, because by the time you've really successfully anonymized the data set, you've also successfully destroyed all the value in it. And the consequence is many data sets just lingering, locked away, and many innovation projects stifled because your data governance, data security officers know about the risks involved in using personal data. The answer is synthetic data. And by that, I don't mean data handcrafted by some engineers, because the results will always end up to be overly simplistic and biased. Today, this is what synthetic data look like. These are not real people, but they look as good as real. They've been dreamed up by an AI model developed by NVIDIA researchers, these images. And at Mostly AI, we brought the underlying technologies to structured business data. Run your dataset through our software, and you will get an unlimited amount of entirely anonymous synthetic data that not only look realistic, but really capture all of the value and the insights in the original. And this is the game changer here, because for the first time, you will be able to leverage all your data assets without any risks to privacy. Our software scales to datasets of millions of customers and is available as an on-prem setup or in the cloud. And you can use it to cater to all of this variety of use cases and bring your digital innovation projects to life faster, cheaper, and with much less risk. And to give you just one example of the use cases here, let me show you here. This is the online and mobile banking platform of one of the biggest banks in Central and Eastern Europe. Their digital innovation team has successfully employed mostly AI synthetic data to fuel their innovation and make the development more frictionless and more efficient. So if you're interested in leveraging your data assets more effectively, come talk to me at our table upstairs on the second floor. Thank you very much.
Guten Tag, meine Damen und Herren. Megan, I would like to answer actually your question you asked at the beginning. You know what I wanted to be when I was a little boy? I wanted to be a superhero. And my favorite one was Superman. You know why? Because this guy actually had a very special superpower, the superpower of X-ray vision. Later I realized that this is nothing you can actually study at the university, so I decided, I need to pick another job, but I still wanted to be a superhero. So I started as a business consultant for this secret organization. Maybe you have heard about them. And my job was not to save the world anymore, but really to help companies to be more successful and to improve their business processes. And if you talk to people, and if you ask people, please tell me, how does the process in your company really looks like? What do you get as an answer? Usually, I don't know. Of course, we have a documentation, but it's outdated the moment you print it. And if you ask people, so how does it really work? And you never get an answer. So you do what business consultants love to do. You do workshops. You do process mapping workshops. Have you been there? It's awful. You spend the day with people in the room, and at the end of the day, you have more business processes than you have people, more participants in the room. Everybody's telling you a different story, and you know exactly that nothing of it is really true. Well, but that was my job for a couple of years, and I really wished I would have this superpower of X-ray vision to really understand and to see through through the surface and understand what's really going on. And then one day I traveled to the beautiful country of the Netherlands. Have you been there? Beautiful. And I met this guy, Professor Dr. Wil van der Aalst. And this guy really invented this sort of superpower to see through business processes. And what he invented, we call it process mining. So what is process mining? Process mining is a technology to automatically reconstruct and analyze business processes solely based on digital footprints from any kind of IT systems. How does it work? Well, anytime you work with computers, you leave digital footprints behind. Every keystroke, every SAP transaction leaves data behind. And this data is then stored in your databases and log files. So what we do, we collect first the data, and in this data we find what we need to reconstruct the process. First is what we call activity, register-defined permitter confirmation. And I need to speed up because the time is running out. And if you combine this with a timestamp, you actually see that you have a process. And if you do this for hundreds of millions cases, then you will realize that you have many different variations of your process. And this is how process mining works. So we created an application. This is just a very short video about it. The process you see here was not reconstructed or was not designed by a human being, but was reconstructed by the technology. And we have two sliders down here. And if I start to move the slider, so this is the most common variation. But if I go to the right, the system will identify the less common activities and will show them up. And if you go to the right, to 100%, you see that your process actually is more complicated than you maybe thought. And if you want to find the bottlenecks in your process, no problem, just go to the throughput time, and you will see where your bottlenecks actually are. It's a platform. We can create all kinds of business processes or business dashboards to show you full insights about what's really going on. And we just completed a very nice project for Unum. And this is my next slide. So I really tried to create a presentation with no words, no text, but it was not possible for this one. This was just a plug on the login screen. But the feedback from Unum was just great. We don't have the time to talk about this. If you want to know more, just come upstairs and I can take you through it. Yeah, EY is our biggest partner and our biggest customer right now, so they are using our technology in their annual audits. So if EY happens to be your auditor, you will meet Process Gold, if you like it or not. You have no choice. Well, I'm a process miner, happy to discuss with you what your superpower is. Of course, you find me on LinkedIn or upstairs. Thank you very much.
Hi, everyone. I am Sudha Megan, the CEO and co-founder of Rosie AI. I have a background in medicine, but right now I'm going to tell you a little story about the time when I considered fashion as a career. I was walking in a hotel lobby, and I'm going against the gradient of traffic, and I feel a crowd of eyes on me, but no eye contact. And so I'm convinced it must be that new blazer really working for me. And then I realize that lady's not really that interested in the design of my lapel. It's really just about my name tag. We've all been there. Imagine if you had a whisper on your shoulder that could tell you a little bit more about the person that you're going to interact with, a little more beyond a name tag. Rosie AI is not in the business of facial recognition, but we're all about understanding an individual customer, their history, remembering them, and being able to deliver personalized care. The challenge, though, is being able to scale this. We at Accor focus on being able to understand language that is specific to a domain. So that means everything from conversational speech, how people message or speak, all the way to formal documents, medical notes, basically the lingo of an industry. We bridge this together with context, the memory of a single individual, and we create solutions that are inspired by this foundation of truly understanding an individual and what they need at that given moment. So what does this mean, and how do these solutions come to life? Essentially, we focus on domains around customer experiencing and how to empower individuals within an organization to do their jobs in a more effective, efficient, seamless, and empathetic manner. For customer experiences, we're all about being able to listen to an individual wherever they might be reaching out to our brand, messaging, voice, email. We power email contact centers that are able to reduce 30% of incoming volume, either automating the response or providing that advisory to service representatives so they have at their fingertips how to best engage. 70% of customers expect you to remember their history. Rosie enables you to use each touch point to cross-sell and upsell as it might be relevant and offer specific promotions. From a proactive care insight standpoint, we work with workers' compensation and health organizations to be able to analyze medical notes and personalize the care, whether this is being able to identify psychosocial factors like depression, all the way to doing optimally timed pain assessments. Return to work programs with Rosie AI are able to reduce the amount of time an injured worker might be out of work by nearly 20%. From a distribution advisory standpoint, we're focused on empowering sales teams and individuals like agents within insurance so that they have the advisory, the time to be able to automate things like meeting notes and spend more time with the individuals that really matter. It's able to increase the revenue of an individual salesperson by nearly 15 to 20% just because they just now got back their Fridays. Our visioning approach is able to pair together with the vision that an organization has with their current strategy. We're able to go from whiteboarding an idea to production in 2 months, graduating that based on the specific use cases in the business strategy. I am Sudha Megan, and we'd be very happy to speak to you to learn more about how we might be able to partner with your organization. Thank you.
Hello, test. Oh, it's working. Perfect. Hey, everyone. My name is Justin Kao. I'm from Boston, Massachusetts, and I am one of the founders of Spiro Technologies. Sorry if this is a little small. It's the what I call the money hate graph. It's the direct correlation of things you spend lots of money on and you always hate. And CRM's always in the top right quadrant of this. I don't know if anyone has worked in a CRM project before, but before starting Spiro, I used to be a CRM consultant. I would go to big enterprise companies like American Express, MetLife, Bose, and build essentially CRMs for them. These companies would spend millions of dollars on CRM projects, and 6 months later scrap them. And CRM's just not really working out. The numbers are astounding here. Gartner and Forrester Research both putting out lots of statistics, specifically how CRM's not working. And it's not because we don't have software to tackle the issue. There's a lot of powerful tools out there, like Salesforce, Dynamics, to do it. But the thing is, we just think that they're approaching it wrong. These tools out there today, like Salesforce and Dynamics, they're reactive. You have to enter your own data. You have to enter in your own accounts, your own contacts. You have to update your own pipeline. And we just don't think that's the way people are working. Software should be proactive. Technology's come so far these days. Spiro is a tool that actually reads your emails and gives you proactive advice, and that's what we're calling proactive relationship management. And the idea is of a software that doesn't have to be used. It's just doing stuff for you. What Spiro is doing, it connects to your email, your calendar, your phone, ERP, using API to connect to your internal business systems. And we put that all into what we call our AI engine. And what that's doing is that's churning through all your data and giving you recommendations on your mobile phone, on the web app, and also providing advanced analytics on the back end. So some enterprise POCs that we've gone through from Spiro's perspective, we did a POC with Singtel, the largest telecom provider out of Southeast Asia. We actually just went live with their full company 3 weeks ago, and we're currently in process with Sequus Life, a large life insurance provider out of Jakarta. So a little bit more about us specifically. We are the first proactive relationship management platform. We have over 200 customers. We're headquartered in Boston, where we have about 30 folks. We've raised about $7 million in funding to this point. And what we're asking for is just introductions. If you guys specifically are looking to incorporate AI into your sales process or understand a little bit more about how to use proactive relationship management, please come talk to us. We're Umbrella, and we'll be at the networking event later. Thank you.
My name's Peter with Agreement. So what is the single source of delay of getting a contract signed? Anybody? Nobody. Oh, lawyers. Okay. It's actually negotiation. Let me go over here. It's negotiation. And any contract workflow that we embrace has to account for that. The style of negotiation happens to be the issue. Here's a contract I propose for us. Let me know what you think. What that leads to, some may laugh, is red lines. In these red lines, I have no idea the important red line versus a non-important red line. What's the tradable red line? Which red line or pattern have I seen before that I can use again? So until we figure this out, we have to get everybody on a phone call to sort it out. Meanwhile, as a former VP of sales, I know how much time is very important. So Agreement went out to redesign the modern contract workflow for how you extend a contract to anybody, any business. And that is that, one, you create a document using your existing templates you have today. Your lawyer spent a lot of time on it, use those documents. Two, you turn that into an HTML link, a cloud link. Three, if they negotiate that document, it's up to you. They're presented a very intuitive interface to stack rank how they negotiate that document. And four, they sign it. All self-contained, one application. They don't send it to DocuSign. When all of it happens in the application, the document becomes smart. So let's talk about the numbers. 36 hours is the average close time today of customers using the platform. Before that, those same contracts, 5 to 6 weeks. 90% of the users repeat on the platform, and 52% convert. There's a network effect built in. That means the responder, when they get the invite, they like it so much, they actually start initiating. So here's an example of a user today. They're actually deciding to redline. In this case, they're stack ranking issues of importance in that document. So this could be by them, by their department, by another party, it doesn't matter. But as long as they do this, we're able to capture those negotiation patterns to make very useful suggestions to get that contract closed. So here is the market, 30 seconds, is that there's a number of solutions at the top for generating contract language. In the future, we believe that will pretty much be free. At the bottom, there's a lot of solutions for signing. We also believe that'll be marginalized. We include all of this in the platform today as one single application with an emphasis to speed up where you spend most of your time, negotiation. The migration to cloud is still not happening in contracts today. 85% is still Word attachments, so we accommodate that. And each time you use the document, it smartens and learns your patterns of negotiation every single time. Big market. The team here is myself, former VP of Sales, B2B for last 2 companies I took from 0 to 20 million, had 2 successful startup exits. My co-founder is here, Chris Boyce, and we have a rock star product council team that are working on the deployment of this product in their own companies. And so next time you think agreement, you always dot the I. That's it. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lester, and I'm one of the founders of Slapdash. And the problem that we're solving is probably relevant to a lot of us here today, in that a lot of us use apps like Gmail and Slack to communicate. We store files in Dropbox, G Drive, and Box. And if you're an engineer, you're probably spending a lot of time in apps like GitHub and Jira. And the reason why we're adopting all of these disparate applications is that we're actually trying to become more productive at work. But there's a bit of a paradox here, in that the more apps that we adopt, the more fragmented our workspace becomes. Even at the individual level, you might have several applications, thousands of files. It's all of a sudden become really hard for you to actually just navigate your own body of work. At the company level, it's actually become an impossible problem to solve, where you have hundreds or thousands of people and millions of different files for people to navigate. Now, there are some companies that are investing heavily in this. Facebook has a 100-person team called their Internal Productivity Tools team that's solely focused on solving this problem. Uber has a team, Stripe has a team, so does Airbnb. But what if you're not a high-growth, multi-billion-dollar tech company? Well, that's why we built Slapdash. It's one interface for all of the work across your company. Under the hood, we cache all of the work done by your workers across their cloud applications. So what can you do with that? Well, obviously, you're going to be able to search. So if you're looking for that elusive Q1 planning document, you forgot what app it's in, you don't even know who owns it, you can go to Slapdash and you're going to be able to find it. What if you worked on something a few hours ago and you don't even want to search for it? It should just be there. Maybe it's even buried in a tab somewhere. Well, with Slapdash, we actually have an activity feed of everything that you've worked on. So go to your homepage, it's going to be there. In the rush to adopt all these cloud applications, we forgot that we used to have the notion of files or folders. Well, with Slapdash, you can actually create files and folder systems around topics like projects or customers. And it doesn't matter what app that file lives in, you can put it in one place again. And if we're talking about companies, we have to talk about people. So it's easy for you, using Slapdash, to see everything that you're shared on across all of your applications in one place. And the best part about it is that our system is super fast. So it's actually 10 times faster than actually using Dropbox or Google Drive. No page loads. Everything actually feels like you're working off your desktop. Again, we're Slapdash. We're an interface for all of your company's work. And anyone here, if you're interested, we do have a closed beta program. Feel free to email me, and I'll be able to sign you up. If you actually have teams at your companies that are interested in testing this out, we're also looking for companies to beta test our team product as well. Thanks.
Hi, everybody. My name is Liam Moriarty, and I'm the CEO of LawGood. So I know I'm the last one today, and I'm talking about contracts, so I'll try to keep this sweet and short. So Companies are increasingly insourcing their legal contract drafting and their contract review to understaffed in-house legal teams because hiring outside legal counsel for this kind of thing is just too expensive. But contracts are complicated and they're time-consuming. And for already stretched thin teams, this increased workload means an increased likelihood of missing something major, which could lead to liability, serious liability. But at LawGood, we're making sure that that never happens by supercharging in-house legal teams. Our machine learning-enabled SaaS tools make it fast, easy, and efficient for lawyers to diagnose issues within their contracts, as well as to jumpstart their drafting process. So on the review side of things, here's how it works. Our software identifies particular contract clauses and then helps the lawyer analyze each clause for major red flag issues. Based on that analysis, comments are automatically generated and then embedded within the contract for ease of escalation and circulation. But the real kicker is that through this whole process, we're extracting market intelligence. So this is intel on contract types, contract clause language, industries, and geographic locations. This is making our algorithm smarter, but we're also using this information to empower legal teams to draft more market-driven model contracts for their businesses with our contract drafting tool. Contract drafting tool is super easy to use. You just input basic deal terms and then adjust the favorability of particularly highly negotiated clauses based on your company's leverage for a particular deal, and then download the contract into Word, saving hours of the drafting process. Our technology, our approach, and the fact that we're an end-to-end contract solution really makes us different. We're not a contract management tool. We're getting into the nitty-gritty of the actual substantive legal issues here. And we're a dedicated team of legal, tech, and business experts. And where we can help is the legal departments, like I said, but contract procurement departments or contracting departments, where oftentimes non-lawyers are the first ones taking a crack at a contract, as well as with partner law firms. So thank you so much for your time. I'd love to talk to all of you after the pitches. Thank you.
Well, let's give it up for our startups. They did a great job. It's not easy coming up here and pitching your passion in 3 minutes. So we're just really delighted with our batch. We want you guys to please vote for the startup that you thought was the most relevant, or that was the best one in your mind. So the information is on the back of your badge. Please vote. And as you are voting, we are going to share a video with you. We did mention that we took Enterprise 2.0 on the road this year. We went to Cleveland, and we had a very successful Future of Work Enterprise event. We will be taking it hopefully internationally this year as well. So hopefully we'll be able to work with some of you in your own hometowns. And in the meantime, I just wanted to for corporations that are not part of our platform right now, I would encourage you to look at Enterprise 2.0. We are here with solutions that can help you become more efficient. As you can see today, we had some very cool things, and we just love you to be part of our journey. So please contact me if you have any questions. In the meantime, how's it going back there? Do you think we might have a video? Okay.
Cleveland's a great place to live, it's a great place to call home, and it's a great place to do business. We're here in lovely Cleveland, Ohio, taking part in the Plug and Play Enterprise 2.0 Future of Work event.
I was really inspired. There's so many people out there trying to focus on the problems for all businesses, not just healthcare. And I think, oh my gosh, I never thought of it from that perspective, which is really fun.
Today was a perfect example of how startups are really doing some cutting edge, amazing, interesting things, and corporations are very interested in moving their back office along in a way that makes them more efficient, saves them money, and honestly just saves them a lot of headache.
Plug and Play Cleveland, who's now in year 2, has kind of come in and galvanized the startup community and really engaged the anchors in the startup ecosystem.
The Plug and Play platform has been very helpful in being able to identify partners and areas of collaboration that would be a great fit for where we are in our journey.
Innovation is key to continue moving forward and to grow, and partnering with startups is the way that you're going to get there.
Take part in partnering with startups, helping that startup ecosystem, it's worth its weight in gold.
Great. Well, do we have a winner? So drum roll, please, everyone. Let's go. Tap on the desk there. Oh, we have to make it louder than that. Okay, so the startup that won the Startup Innovation Prize is Mostly AI. A special note that they moved here from Austria for the 3 months, and he's been all over the United States with us, I think, so even Cleveland. So great, nice to, congrats. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
So do you want to say anything?
Thank you very much. I'm a bit overwhelmed. I don't know exactly what to say. Plug and Play has been very valuable for us, so I've got a lot out of that. I mean, it was, we took the decision to be here for the whole 3 months, and I think we got a lot of good connections to corporates, to mentors, to the other startups, and so it's a really great ecosystem for us to get here.
Great. Well, good. Thanks so much. So, in closing, it's been a long day. I'm sure you've seen, drank from a fire hose of startups today, and we have 2 more days of this. So just want a couple of housekeeping items. There, you can meet the startups upstairs. You can have special meetings that you can put through Brella. You can coordinate through Brella, or else they'll just have their demos tables upstairs in the event center. There's a casino night, from what I understand. A casino probably afternoon, it looks like, because it's starting, I think, pretty soon. So anyway, thanks very much, and thanks for being here.